Okay, councilors, the Legal Affairs Committee will now come to order. We have one item before us tonight, and it is a proposed ordinance prohibiting public consumption of marijuana or marijuana concentrate. And if Chief Griffin is here, he would like to make a presentation. Chief?
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Council. I appreciate the time. As you all know, with the recent passing of the Question 4 across the state, there's been a lot of concern about the impact of that everywhere within law enforcement. So I proposed this ordinance to give us another tool to be able to combat people using marijuana in public. I know there's a state law that's in effect. It's my experience with the recent changes in the marijuana laws have been a little bit difficult for us to navigate, and having this in place would give us another tool to be able to effectively deal with a situation. Should somebody be, say, at a Little League park or something like that, we could deal with that and issue them a fine right away. I think it's a more effective and quicker action than the proposed language in the state law for a clerk's hearing at court. I'm just very concerned about the impact of everything that's going on with that question, and this would be something that would help us out. I know there's other cities throughout the Commonwealth that have adopted a similar type of an ordinance, and it basically would be something that's very similar to our drinking in public ordinance, and it's kind of fashioned after that. So, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them.
Councilors, do you have any questions for Chief Griffin? Councilor Gould and Councilor Gravel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, can you tell us today what is the response with someone smoking marijuana in public by the police?
Right now, they would probably be told to stop and then sent on their way, depending on how old they were and the amount that they have. They could be given some type of information and then have to come to court, but it's a complicated maneuvering through the court system right now with the way the law that's in place.
I guess maybe I didn't ask. What's the old way we handled it? And
you could take out a criminal complaint at court for someone who is publicly consuming marijuana, and I think it comes with a $300 fine.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Councilor Gravel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's similar, but a little different in terms of the question is that you just made a statement that it's similar to alcohol, but and I understand that public consumption of alcohol, meaning I can't walk with an open container down the street and drink, but I certainly can go to a bar or a restaurant or who has a license. So how does this play in that vein? Are there places, is it assumed that there are places where if you're allowed to drink, you're allowed to consume or smoke? If it's allowed within the facility, is that incorporated into the liquor license? I just don't know how you can draw the parallel between the two when it really is going to be quite different.
Well, I think with smoking marijuana, it would be similar to smoking tobacco in a particular establishment. If it's a public establishment, smoking regular tobacco, I believe is prohibited. If it's a private club, then there's different rules. So I think it would fall under that kind of a category. I'm mainly concerned with people, walking down the street, ingesting it, smoking it right out in the general public.
All right, and I get what you're saying, and I'd be of the same mindset. But when it comes to you're talking about concentrate. So for instance, it wouldn't have to be smoked in a restaurant where alcohol is served. It could be consumed because if it's a concentrate. And in a private club, you mentioned that if they allow smoking in a private club, then it would be hard to prohibit. I just want to make sure that whatever we put in place clearly understands that there's a line of demarcation there. We're not saying that we're negating the law that's there. We're just basically enhancing the law that would be there for the legality of it and being able to say, hey, we just don't want you to do that in public, just like we don't want you to drink in public.
I would agree with that. That's my goal.
Further questions, councilors? If you don't mind, I'd like to ask a couple. Chief, how does this coincide with the state law? Because my understanding of the state law would be that there should not be public consumption.
Yeah, I did say there is a state law that I believe it's in effect right now. You can take out a complaint against somebody, but you'd have to bring that to the court, whether it's juvenile court or adult court, and then depending on the resolution there, the fines would probably end up being split between the state and however they decide to. This particular, I had suggested any fines that were collected to go directly to the Healthy Peabody Collaborative, so to fund something directly here within the city that could be turned around to help our efforts here.
Okay, and because this council has recently voted a moratorium and wants to put the issue on the ballot as an opt-out, do we yet need this? And I guess the last part of the question would be, has our city solicitor reviewed this language?
He has reviewed it, yes. We could wait. I'm just trying to, kind of take the long look and not wait till there's a problem and then start talking about it, I guess. But if the council prefers to wait and see, I would fully understand that.
Thank you. Councilors, questions, comments? What is your wish? Councilman McGinn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd move to approve and advertise the draft language, ordinance language, as provided by the Chief of Police in his communication to the City Council dated February 7, 2017. So moved.
Councilors, you heard the motion. Comments? Roll call.
Councilors Garabedian,
Yes.
Gravel,
Yes.
McGinn,
Yes.
Mitsoulas, Walsh.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Councilors, any other items before us? Seeing none, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.